This is how the sacrifice was accepted. After that, the story says that the 480 prophets of Baal, or Baal, they were taken to the Kishon River. The Kishon River is somewhere today. We only see a small stream of the Kishon River, but the Kishon River is inside the Jezreel Valley. And the Jezreel Valley is where we are driving now. All of this around you is the Jezreel Valley, one of the most important ancient biblical valleys of 2,000 years ago, even 3,000 to 4,000 BC. So this is where the prophets of Baal were killed after the whole story with the prophet Elijah. And Prophet Elijah is also an important prophet when we deal with the prophets. Prophet Elijah was the one who appears next to Jesus at the story of the Transfiguration. And this also happens on one of the hills in the mountains where tradition holds today in the Jezreel Valley. Just to your left from here, behind these hills at the far end, if it was clear, we'll be able to see it. The Mount Tabor today is where we believe tradition holds that the whole story took place. Now, Moses and Elijah appears on both sides with Jesus, and once again Jesus using those three disciples following him, Peter, James and John. But then the appearance happened there. Jesus appeared in glory, in white, transfigured, shining. And then there was a voice from the Lord saying, "This is my Son, with whom I'm pleased, listen to him." That's another event where the three met together. The first one was when Jesus was baptized at the Jordan River. Once again we see a voice from the Lord saying, "This is my Son, with whom I'm pleased." And then this is another event that happened. So theologians and scholars see that every time there was an appearance of a cloud, there was a voice of the Lord saying, "This is my Son," confirming that for whom you will listen, and also who you will love, whom I love. Listen to him. So many of the churches today, for example, like Antonio Barluzzi, have used also in his design of building churches a design of clouds, to show the clouds, because every time there was a cloud, there was a voice of the Lord, and there was also a meeting of the three, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So it's a beautiful. So that is the Jezreel Valley. Where we are driving now, we are driving still in the Jezreel Valley. Everything here to your left, this whole landscape, this is what we call it, the Jezreel Valley. Now the Jezreel Valley also have another biblical event. That second biblical event that we deal with when we are here is according to the book of Revelation. In the book of Revelation, the battle at the end of days will take place in the Jezreel Valley, or what we call it, the Armageddon, the site of the Armageddon. Today we have a biblical archaeological site. It's called the site of Megiddo. Megiddo, which is the site of the Armageddon, where the battle at the end of earth will take place at the end of days. And that is mentioned in the book of Revelation. Several layers were found during the archaeological excavations at the site of Megiddo, and also excavating in the Jezreel Valley. The Jezreel Valley in Greek, it's called the Valley of Esdraelon. In Greek, called the Valley of Esdraelon. In the Jezreel Valley, the archaeological excavations have discovered 26 layers of archaeology. Today in a tell called the Tell of Megiddo. The Tell of Megiddo, or Megetta. Just when we turn here to the left, we'll be entering a modern city. The city is called Yokneam, the city of Yokneam, but it's also built on top of an ancient biblical site called the site of Yokneam. Yokneam is the place where several archaeological excavations were found, and some of these archaeological excavations goes to even early, middle and late Bronze Age. And then after that we deal with the Iron Age. When we deal with Iron Age is usually the Israelite period, when the Israelites entered the land. When we deal with the Bronze Age, we are talking about the time of King Abraham, not king, of course, Father Abraham, and before, even the early Bronze Age, and even before that, during the Canaanite period. When we deal with the Canaanite period, my friends, we deal with many different stories, but the Bible and the Old Testament the whole time shows how the Israelites, when they entered the land, they were fighting. There were enemy that refused the coming of the Israelites into the land. And the Bible says that most of these enemies, for example, they were the Midianites, the Ammonites, the Amorites, all of these would fight against the Israelites. The Israelites would defeat the enemy. Why? Because the Bible says that they have with them the Ark of the Covenant. So the Ark of the Covenant was threatening the enemy that the Israelites had to face. And then they would open the way. They would say, wait a minute, we don't need trouble. Open the way for them. We don't need trouble. So this is how they were able to enter the land. However, one of the enemy were defeating the Israelites, and they never surrendered for the Israelites. They even crushed the Israelites in several battles. And they were known as the Philistines, or the Philistines, as you all know them. Friends, the Philistines, not to be confused today with the Palestinians, the Philistines, but they are one of the 5 sea people that they entered the land as a result of a volcano that hits Santorini. And then they came and they entered the land. When they entered the land, they made 5 major cities: Gaza, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Gat, and Ekron. 5 major cities. But they fought against the Israelites in several battles. Because they were well organized and they were very strong soldiers, the Israelites said, we need someone to lead us to these battles. And Samuel, according to the Old Testament, says, why do you need someone to lead you to these battles? God is with you. Who do you want more? No, we need a general. We need a general. So at that time he found no one but to pick the worst king for the land here, and it was King Shaul, or King Saul. King Saul was a terrible king, but he led a battle against the Philistines, and that battle is known as the Battle of Ebenezer. The Battle of Ebenezer. That battle took place on the hills called the Mountains of Gilboa. The Mountains of Gilboa. In the Mountains of Gilboa there, the Israelites were defeated at that time. And then when King Saul realized that both his sons, Merav and Melchishua, died in the battle, he committed suicide and he died. Their heads were hanged at the entrance to a city, and that city is called the city of Beit She'an. Of course, several stories deals with also many of these events, but one of the interesting stories as well deals with how the Ark of the Covenant was lost in one of these stories. And we don't know where the Ark of the Covenant ended. However, some scholars suggested that, of course, we know that the Ark of the Covenant ended with the Philistines in one of their temples. And in the morning when they woke up, they saw that the head of the statue was destroyed. Next to it was the Ark of the Covenant. They said, we don't need trouble. Take the Ark of the Covenant away. They put the Ark of the Covenant on a carriage with 2 cows and they let it free. And the Ark of the Covenant went from one place to another and ended up in a city called Kiryat Ye'arim. Kiryat Ye'arim. In the Kiryat Ye'arim there was a man, his name was Abinadab. He kept the Ark of the Covenant there for 20 whole years. And then after that, King David, on his way to Jerusalem, took the Ark of the Covenant and continued to Jerusalem. We don't know